Hi guys, it's Ross Davis from Strafe Creative here, and again we're going to be looking at conversion rate optimization. And the entire idea of what we're doing with this series of videos is we're looking at how the big boys, so the big players in the market, are kind of designing their websites, and we're going to look at how we can adapt and take some of their ideas and improve them and put them into our own sites. So today, the one we're going to be looking at is obviously here, Salesforce. As it kind of says here, the world's #1 CRM. Obviously, there's slight arguments depending on that on some slight other ones, but essentially, it's not overly important what they sell. We're more looking at how they design their website and what little kind of intricacies they've put on the site to influence what the user is going to do, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So the first thing is this big title. So as soon as you land on the page, there's something called a 5-second test. So as soon as they land on that page, they're going to make a decision on, is this site going to be able to do what I want them to do? So they're straight away showing what they do, so kind of the benefit, but also they're building a lot of credibility by saying kind of the world's #1. So they're building credibility instantly as soon as you land on that page. They've also done some little subtle things in the menu which work really nicely, which is they've made these 4 particular options here in bold, and these ones are slightly smaller and not bold. And the reason they've done that is that they want the users to kind of click onto these, so these are going to be of more interest to them. I would even potentially say that they've made this products page, because they have so many products, that's potentially more complex, because from a customer journey point of view, they probably want to push people onto an industry instead, so they can quickly get onto that. So I think that works quite nicely. The other thing that they've done here, which works really well, is they've got the word solutions. So pointing out what the solutions do. So it's more kind of benefits-driven language. And those type of things can work really well to kind of build credibility. So they're not just selling their software, they're trying to say, this is a solution. And that works really nicely. I also quite like the fact that, again, because we've got these products here, there's lots of different places we can go, and this looks a bit messy, but they've come up with a really nice color-coded way to just get people to what they need. So, if they're only after the marketing, they can click on this orange one. If they're only after sales, they can click on the blue one. So something really simple like that works really, really nicely. And even just showing a little snapshot of what they're going to get in the background on this iPad is a nice way of building credibility and kind of showcasing the product without having to force it down someone's neck. So that works really well. Now, one of the things that I spoke about in other videos is something called a call to action. So a call to action is essentially a button or something on a website which we want the user to do, so we want to force them to do it. So for this particular one, the main call to action is going to be obviously a free trial. And what they've done is they've put that in the top right corner, and you'll see they've put that in a more contrasting color compared to everything else on the page. And the reason you put like a bright contrasting color in is so that the eye is drawn to it. So it's purposely up here kind of large, brightly colored and green to really stand out. The other thing that they've done here, and this is an important one because the amount of people that we do websites for that we get this, is they've not made the logo overpowering and large, which is a habit of what most websites to go for. So your website 99% of the time is in the top left corner. If someone needs to know what your company is, they can look there. So there's no reason to make that bigger. If they'd made this logo really big, especially because it's a big blue cloud, it would draw the eye too much. And really, we want the user over here looking at free trial. Some of the really nice little subtle things they've done are, you can kind of see here that in theory, from a customer point of view, they probably they want people to either view the demos, get a free trial, or look at the pricing. But what they've subtly done is they've made this watch demo slightly larger than the other ones. So you'll see that in theory, this one's the most important to them. Then you've got a free trial, then you've got pricing, which works quite nicely. And it might be a case that people that sign up just straight away for the free trial don't stay on as long, whereas people that look at a demo and then get a free trial are more likely to sign up. So that's potentially why they've done it. I'm not 100% sure, but that could be an option. As we scroll further down the page, what they've done really nicely here is they're trying to point out to everyone that their system fits for all sizes of businesses. And this is something that in our office anyway, we kind of call logo porn. So it's kind of putting loads of logos on there, and you're kind of stealing the credibility from them. So, looking at, oh wow, the fact that they O2 are using this and Unilever are using this and JobSite are using this is really credible. So that's great, but then it might put off some smaller businesses. So, the chap is quite a famous one. So the fact that it's a small business that's using that is also good. So those are really nice as well. And again, putting right next to it is viewing the customer stories. Right next to these is a really nice way of doing it. And even their choice of language works really well. So instead of it being like case studies or testimonials where you're going to be sold to, they're kind of trying to get it more across as a customer story, so it's a bit more personal, which I think is a really nice touch. You've obviously got text coming from an SEO point of view. I don't think most people necessarily read that, but it does help up to break up the text. And these blocks of color are a nice way of making content more digestible without you having to put big blocks of color in, big blocks of text, sorry. As we scroll down, we've got the same color-coded things from up here. So obviously we've got the blue from sales and the purple from service. And again, you can see that these colors link in. So everything's color-coded, everything's easy to remember, and you'll associate it with that. And these are, again, work really nicely that you can just straight away, obviously they're drawing attention more to viewing the demo than learning more about it. And that's probably because seeing something in action, especially from a software point of view, is a lot easier to do than it is if you're having to read a lot of information. And these are obviously their top ones, and then if you want to look at their other products, you can click there. And I think that's a really nice, clean way, especially because they sell so many different things. It's a really clean and simple way of doing it. And just, having these particular buttons highlighted is a really great way to push the user to do that particular thing instead. Now, CRM, especially that type of term and any kind of tech term, they want to appear high in search engines. And what they've done here is they've kind of hidden the text, which I think is quite a nice way of doing it. So if I hit more, there's loads of text and loads of links. So they've got lots of internal links, and that's good for search engine optimization. Works really well. But at the end of the day, most people don't really need to read that. It's not important from a customer journey. It's purely just there really for keywords. And that's why it's kind of partially hidden, which I think is quite a nice idea. And even just little details like this, that I wonder how many extra people will ring the number just because it says free phone next to it. That'd be a really good test to run, see if you were to get more calls over a month period if you just put free phone next to it. There are some pieces of software you can use for that as well, but I'll save that for another time. But yeah, I just wonder if that makes a big difference. I do think they probably added that for a particular reason. The other thing is, and you may have noticed this, in the bottom right corner down here, at any point when we're searching through, there's two more call to actions. So there's a button here straight away for us to contact them if we click that. And that takes us straight through to a big form for us to kind of fill, not a huge form, but a form to fill us in. So there's these here. And this is the last thing I just want to touch on. And what this does really nicely is it's kind of been proven that not everyone, when you've got something large like this can be really off-putting and it stops people wanting to fill in. So that could stop people from wanting to do it. But it's been proven that just having social media accounts where you can just click on those straight away and it just auto filling in all the details makes it far more likely for a user to actually want to try this service out. So again, if you've got a software, if you've got anything where you need to try and grab their details from them so you can add them to your database, it's definitely worth looking at using some form of social account login. It's quite easy to set up, and that can definitely drive the number of people that are getting that are kind of filling in their details with you. So a really nice, simple way. And you can see here that the fact that they've kind of brightened, it's kind of highlighting its own color with really big logos to draw the attention to them, this is clearly what they would prefer users to be doing. So you can fill this in if you wish, but it's quite long. It can be quite off-putting. The fact that you can just hit Google or Facebook and not have to fill in any of these product information obviously just shows they really want to kind of push that particular one. So yeah, so that's it, guys. Do leave any comments in there. We always read all of them. And also, if you want your site to be reviewed, you can also do that as well. There'll also be a link that appears in the thing for this that potentially you can submit your site to. It's on the actual Strafe Creative website. So do have a look, guys. Any other queries, let us know. Thanks.